J.W. Hart.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
on.
Appreciate it.
A man that needs no introduction. The
Well,
Iron Man. The Hit Man.
my mama called me Ironhead. So I had a hard head.
So let's start it off with the Iron Man come from, 197 consecutive.
Yep, 197. Well, would have been Bud Light Cup events back then, what we know now as the Unleash the Beast Tour. So, yeah.
And you just didn't do them either. You were doing rodeos alongside them?
Yeah, for the most part, early on especially. We talked a little bit about it yesterday.
Yeah.
In the shade tree, under the shade tree. So, yeah.
We worked out roughly like 500 events.
Yeah, probably in the 400s, probably, without... I might have turned out at rodeos because I was up somewhere else same day or had a real terrible bull and just didn't want to go there and went somewhere else. But, yeah, probably 400, over 400 something, 470 something maybe.
And how did you start rodeoing? Through your father?
Yeah, it was kind of, my dad rode bulls, my mom secretary rodeos, and then by the time I come around, my daddy was kind of at the back end. I don't ever remember seeing him ride in person, just on videos and stuff. But by the time I was coming around, he started judging some rodeos, and so bull riding just come second nature and first habit, So, yeah. So I just we'll go to the rodeos, and like most anybody that's a bull rider, when they went to rodeos, the bull riding was the one event that intrigued them. That and the thrill seeker deal, the most adrenaline, everything, the big money, that all the girls like the bull riders. So, yeah. So.
And there's a reason why they keep it to the last event.
Why, sure, yeah. It's most dangerous, most exciting.
And was your father much of a hand as a bull rider?
The videos I seen, he rode pretty good. I heard stories from a lot of his friends and guys around that he was pretty damn good bull rider, and that he was tough and just never give up. And that kind of explains mine and my brothers, both our mentalities and our ability too. We're both pretty good bull riders. I never was the best when he won the world title in '99, but neither one of us, I can honestly say, neither one of us ever give up, and we tried our tails off till our head hit the ground a couple of times. So that's got to be a direct attribute from him, I suppose. So.
And what year was it that you won the event, world final?
2002. I won the world finals. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And how old were you when you started getting on sheep? Did you start on sheep?
Sheep riding wasn't a thing when I was a kid. We just started getting on just roping calves and things like that in the early days. So I would have been, of course, everybody gets on when your dad holds you across the arena as far as you can when you're 3 and 4. But by the time we was 5, 6 years old, we was getting on milk calves and roping calves and stuff and getting let go across the arena. So we never had the sheep busting era. So it was straight up. And the roping calves, them crossbred roping calves around Texas, Oklahoma,
they had a bit to them.
Yeah. That's why not a lot of bull riders come out of my area, because they got killed off in the calf riding. So, but it was just calf riding up through steer riding and junior bull riding, and then the open rodeos and things like that. Just kind of the natural course of time.
How old were you when you got on your first open bull?
Now I got on my first. I was getting on bigger bulls when I was 12 and 13, and I got on my first full-grown 1,700 pounder when I think I was 13. I might have been 12. It didn't go good. Broke some teeth and stuff, and then kind of moved it back down a notch for another year or so. But by the time I was 15, I would see Tough and Cody and those guys at the same bull ridings I was going to periodically. So, I was well beyond my years of where I was supposed to be.
And that would have been around the same area you met Lane Frost. You were 11 or 12?
Yeah, I met him, and I watched, the first time I watched him ride, our TV would always bring up the 10th round of the National Finals Rodeo. And that would have been in 85, the first year then before I went to Las Vegas, and I seen the 10th round he rode a bull called Davo. He's 85. It was just mesmerizing. Like I didn't know him from next guy down the street, but I was drawn to him immediately for some reason. Just the way he rode and the way, I guess the way he smiled, the way he waved at the crowd right then, it just intrigued. I was drawn to him, just a magnet. And, Ted Noose rode a bull, was 89 the very next ride. And I wasn't drawn to him. Lane was a magnet and a real magnet to young kids. And I just drawn to him. And then I went, the next year, it was probably 8 or 10 months after that. A friend of mine in the junior rodeos actually knew him and lived down the road from him, and we talked about Lane, and it's like, hey, Lane's coming, Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it was. You're gonna get on some practice bulls. You should come up. So my mom and dad took me up, and I got to meet him and kind of started a little friendship there, and so yeah, that's how it went down.
And he was like one of your biggest idols.
Yeah, he was. Looking back, my dad taught me probably as much or more than Lane did. But any kid that's 11, 12 years old thinks their dad don't know what he's talking about. I got a 15-year-old that I know knows that I don't know what I'm talking about. But somebody else can tell him the same words in a different verbiage, and it makes perfect sense to him. And that's the way it was. My dad rode bulls, and he'd tell me to get to the front and, reach forward. Well, whatever. Man, you don't. Then Lane would say, well, you just got to stick your chest out and reach to that front horn, and it all made, perfect sense. So, I really idolized him and was just devastated, just a devastated 13-year-old when he passed away.
Oh wow! So you only knew him for a couple of years?
Yeah, I only knew him for 3 or 4 years there before he passed away, from about 86 to 89. So about 3 years. Yeah.
What were you doing on that day that it happened? Were you watching the event or?
Everybody knows what they was doing when John F. Kennedy was shot. In that era, the people, and everybody knows exactly where they are when the Twin Towers went down. Everybody knows where they was when whatever happened. And I can tell you exactly what I was doing, the exact day, everything. When I heard Lane died, I'd have been 14-ish, and I was I was working at a leather shop, and I was stamping out breast collars for saddles. And my mom and daddy just showed up where I was working, weirdly enough, kind of middle of the day on a Monday, and I'd ride my motorcycle down to where I work, and I'd rode it down there that day, and I was working, I was stamping breast collars, and they come in and got me, and was like, we got to talk to you. And I thought, I don't know, I've done something. I didn't know what I'd done. How you are, running your mind, what have I done wrong? I'm in trouble. And they took me in those folks' house, and we sat down at the kitchen table, and my dad's like, and I remember him saying, life's hard. He said, I know sometimes life don't turn out like you want. And I'm thinking, and I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. And he said, and I don't know how to tell you this. I'm like, but my mom and daddy's alive, so can't be too bad. And he said, Lane got killed in Cheyenne yesterday. And I went blank. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was sad. I cried, and I was just in disbelief. And the selfishness of me, I can remember this day. Why was it him? Why wasn't it
someone else?
This guy or that guy? And I had names. Like, why wasn't it so and so, or why wasn't it so and so? And but yeah, it's a pretty big blow to a 14-year-old kid that somebody meant so much to him. So yeah.
Was that the biggest blow that had happened to you up until that?
Yeah. Somebody that I looked up to. I had known other people that passed away and stuff, but it was the first one, and really the first one that I knew and meant anything to me that died doing what I really loved and what I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But I can honestly say it never wavered my thought of what I wanted to do. Yeah, and I know some grown men that was friends with him that it wavered what they thought they wanted, how they wanted to make a living. But I can look back and I now that I think about it, it never wavered what I thought about what I wanted to do. And I remember really something stuck out to me at the funeral is when I was at the graveside. I was standing there and people standing everywhere, still in shock, still in disbelief. Kind of everybody starting to filter away. And I look up in the distance and I see Clint Bronger carrying his gear bag from one car to another car at the cemetery and putting it in the trunk of a car and getting in that car and leaving to go to a rodeo somewhere. And I thought, and I remember seeing that. I can see it like it was yesterday, and it was just, this is what this sport is. You got to go on. So it was a life lesson learned right there.
And do you reckon that has carried on to now, like coaching, and also when you're giving advice, how you take it all very serious, and that's why you're telling people certain things and there's seriousness behind it, because from a young age how serious this sport can be. I
just had this conversation with Cody Lambert just 4 hours ago in a meeting that it doesn't matter what other sport really, like we was talking about wrestling in particular when we was in this meeting earlier, that if you're wrestling and you get beat and somebody beats you, the worst thing can happen is you get beat, you lose, or a broke arm or a pulled muscle or what have you. Football, whatever, injuries, baseball, the roughest sports. Bull riding,
it's like nothing
you
else.
Die. And if you're not okay with that and not open to it, you're not cut out for it. You gotta get somewhere in your mind. You get in your mind that ain't happening to me. Never happened to me. But if it does, I'm okay with it. And that's where you gotta be. And if you're not, you can't be at the top of the game because you got too many reserves when the gate opens.
It's serious business.
Dead serious. I mean, a lot of people take their last breath doing this game.
And knock on wood, you had a pretty good run with not a lot of injuries.
I did, yeah. I broke my neck early when I was 18. It wasn't like a really terrible break. I was back in 6 weeks, 4 6 weeks after surgery. Broke some ribs, broke my wrist, broke a leg, broke my little bone in the leg. I broke my jaw once. A lot of cuts and scrapes and stitches, but and you think, well, that sounds like a lot. You broke your neck, you broke ribs, you broke your wrist, you broke your jaw, da 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 da. Yeah, but that's really over 25 years.
Yeah.
So I got by pretty good, really. A lot better than a lot of people.
I've done a lot more than that in 3 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's guys in 5 years have way more injuries than I did in 25. So, but you just put them on paper and you look at it and you broke all that. You did that, yeah, but it's over 25 years. That's pretty good.
What was when you were younger? What was your first big win? Like a big rodeo or?
I started riding against those guys when I was 15, and in the first crack, and I didn't even win. I won third, I think. I kind of probably should have won first or second, but I don't want to blame it on my name, that I didn't win or I was the kid because, but went to a Mac Altizer bull riding, and I rode 2 really good bulls, and I won third behind. I can't even remember who won first and second. But they rode Playboy, famous bull back in the day, and he had a really bad day, really off day for him. Just went down the chutes, and I was 89 in the short round, and that guy was 92 or 3, and he should have been 78. You know, and I was like, what? But the bull was Playboy, and the judges just. But that was the first one that I thought, you know what?
I can do this.
I can run with these guys. I was still I think I was 16. I'm pretty sure I was 16 at the time. And, I thought I'd been to a few bull ridings where they were all at, and I just didn't do good or get bucked off. But that day it was like, I don't know if I can beat them. I think I can beat them.
But
looking back, I was probably thinking, I got them now. But realistically, I knew I could compete with them. And then would have been a few years later, 94 when I won, or 95, I guess it would be, after the PBR really kind of got rolling, and I won the event there in Nashville. And then I backed it up with a win in California the next week. So those two.
That's when you knew it's on now.
Yeah. And I won one on my dad's birthday, and the next one was on Father's Day. So it was pretty cool.
And what age was it when you stopped working and just full-time rodeo?
I never had a job.
Oh, well, you were stamping them collars.
Yeah, well, as I say, I didn't ever have a job. That was just kind of a part-time job, in the summertime. And they were friends of the family, and they built saddles and tack for saddles, so they were just giving me a little $20 a day job, just make me $100 a week so I could go pay my entry fee. So that's all that was. And my dad worked in the oil field. So I worked for him, but anybody that's ever worked for their dad knows that's not a job. It's worse than a job, and because you work harder and you don't make anything. So and he always held that over me. Like if I didn't do no good this week, I went to the oil patch with him. So I learned to have some meaning behind my efforts.
Makes you try a lot harder when you busted your ass all week for no money.
Yeah. So.
Did you ever get to watch Red Rock in person?
I never seen Red Rock in person, no. And I never seen Mr. T in person. And I don't think I ever seen a bull called Cowtown in person. Those are 3 bulls. They were just before I got to get out and go to
What
get
about
around.
Bodacious?
Yeah, I've seen Bodacious quite a bit.
Yeah. Because he was like sort of the tail end of all that. Like Tough and all them. Zero.
Yeah.
You never got on him?
No, they had a match set up one time. I was supposed to get on him for a four match bounty ride or ride off deal, and I would have been 18, 19 at the time, and I was thinking, you know what? That was so cool to me because they did the same thing with Lane and Red Rock, and I was like, yeah, I'm in. And they called me, and A.G. Myers called and said, hey, we'll give you. I got to think about it. The money, it was like, we're going to give you, I want to say give you $1,500 every time you get on him, $5,000 if you ride him, and if you ride him all 4 times, we'll give you $25,000, $50,000. I don't even remember what it was. It might have been 500, it might have been 500,000, but it was cheap. Like it was 20 or 30,000 if I rode him all 4 times. And I remember I thought, well, I remember. And I kind of looked up to Lambert at the time, Cody.
Ozcan Rural, providing Southwest Victoria with everything related custom sheep and cattle yards. Get in touch with the fellas via email ozcanrural@gmail.com. That's AUS, can like the one you drink, rural@gmail.com. Building fences straighter than your local politician.
So I called Cody Lambert, and he said, yeah, that's a great idea. He said, but they need to pay you $5,000 to get on him, $15,000 every time you ride him, and $1 million if you ride him all 4 times. And I can remember thinking, that'd be awesome, but I need to get off the phone with you because they're not going to do that. I got off the phone with Cody, and I picked the phone up and called A.G. Myers back. And I said, "Yep, I'll do it." I didn't want to talk money. It didn't matter. I just wanted to get on him and see if I could ride him and show him that I could ride him because I thought I could. Because I had it made up in my mind that all the guys that he had crashed and hit in the face were all left-handed, and I was right-handed. All the guys that I knew had any really success on him, Terry Don West and Bubba Dunn, and were all right-handed. I was right-handed, so I had it made up in my mind that I was just going to go get some money and go about my business. But I think, they never called me back. And so, like I said, it might have been God's grace the way he saved my life.
That's the way he kept your teeth?
Kept my teeth that way. So keep this pretty crooked smile I got. Yeah, anyway, but I never got on him.
And so the coach of the Kansas City Outlaws.
Yeah.
How did that all come to?
One of the team owners, Lenny Forey and Phil Pulley. Lenny actually is the one that called me, and we talked for about an hour there on the phone on a Monday, midday, and man, it was funny how when we started talking, you just feel the fellowship between us that we was so both like-minded, that our morals lined up, what we thought a team should do and act were the same, and it really felt good. And then he ended the call like, "I'll call you back. I'll let you know something by Friday." And so all week I'm waiting. I thought, well, I bet I priced myself out of that gig. And he called me back on Friday about 4:59, and yeah, you're our guy. So it's been a great relationship. Those guys are so they're so down to earth and so humble.
I got to meet them that first camp.
Yeah, and they want the best for the guys. They want the best for the team. And that's what it takes is owners that want what's best for the riders and the team, and not just their pocketbooks or what's cool.
And were you surprised with how much work it was actually involved in being the coach of the team?
Very much. If I'd have known how much actual work, be honest with you, I thought coaching a team of bulls. I had coached Global Cup teams, so I'd had a little experience of coaching a team. But it was just guys, you pick up the best 5 or 10, 6, 8 guys, right then. You took them, we went to one event. But this is managing them through a season. And you're trying to manage attitudes. You're trying to, they get the people that may not like each other, the egos that come with it, and the personalities that come with it, and the drama that comes with putting young guys together as a team, and trying to work through the drafts and the free agents and releasing guys and picking guys up and just all that. It's a job. It's not just show up and go, well, I got these 5 guys, you get that bull, this bull, and let's go see how we do. Because if we don't win and don't win long enough, I'll lose my job. So my job, my livelihood rides on it. So it's dang sure more of a job than I had anticipated. Like, I thought it was going to be a gravy train. And I think all the guys kind of opened their eyes, like, we got in here and it's work. It's fun though.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be misleading that I don't like what I do or they don't pay me enough or this or that, but it was an eye opener to how much work is into it. Like, I'm used to working on my hands, but to work with people and try to get a common ground with everybody that we're on one mission to go do one job. It's challenging. It's a new challenge in my life, and it's fun. I do enjoy it, though.
Do you find that the guys are coming around to it more? Like, now the team's 3rd year, that people are understanding it more, and they're not like a lot of bull riders are single man's games, so
Yeah.
now they're getting more into the idea of a team.
You have to understand that bull riders have always been a standalone. That I run my life. I go where I want to go. If I want to jump off, I jump off. If I want to try till I die, I try till I die. If I don't want to go next week to that bull riding, I don't have to go. And it's come around where now you're under a contract. Now there's 12 guys on a team, and 7 guys are going to go, and 5 are going to compete. And it's hard for us guys to wrap our mind around. But if you're not outside your comfort zone and box, you never grow. And the guys are starting to come around to it now where they understand it. The money that they make in 10, 11 events is astounding. And when they figured that out, and then between that and they see the results of a Marcus Mast, or they see the results of a Casio Diaz, that in a team system under coaches have excelled their game so far, so fast, it's starting to catch on that guys are like, you know what? I need a coach might be what helps me. And I was against it. When they first, years ago before the teams, they would talk about, what about if guys had coaches? And I'm like, I don't want a coach. I'm my own guy. I'm my own deal. I don't need somebody coaching me. I had friends to tell me what I did wrong or help me. But I have to back up and eat my words that coaches in the right form and under the right circumstances are very beneficial to a bull rider.
Because I had Marcus Mass on, and he says that the team and you specifically changed his whole career and changed his life.
Yeah, and I think, and I mean, he's a great bull rider to begin with. It was
and he
just
put the work in.
It was just somebody to give him the motivation to put the work in to be better. I learned that the last ride of my career ever is when I learned it. I was going to do a bull ride, and I was going to get on a bull when I was 40 years old, and I was 20 pounds overweight, and I had to have a chance at winning or doing any good. I had to get in shape, and I got a personal trainer, and he actually is our trainer for our team now. And what I learned through that 4-month process made a believer out of me that somebody sitting there doing the push-ups with me, driving me, looking me in the eye, telling me, hey, your family rides on this. Your family needs this. You're doing this for your family. You're doing this. You can do 10 more push-ups. You can do 10 more sit-ups. You can do another mile. And forcing you, it makes you better.
And there is, you've got Glammy come on as the assistant coach now.
Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that we should know by now that a lot of the great bull riders come from Brazil, and the language barrier is so difficult. And there's some great guys down there. When there's a competition and I've got to put a group of guys together, we've seen how many good ones come out of there. And those guys, I think a lot of those guys come with what I call them PhDs when they come up here. They're poor, hungry, and driven. And they have what I had when I was a kid. I was come out of a poor household, and if I didn't ride good, I didn't eat good. And I think the drive that them kids have really helped their ability to stay on bulls. And I didn't have nobody down there. I didn't know how to get a hold of somebody down there. I didn't know who those guys was. I couldn't speak the language. So I talked with Lenny. I said, we need, our owners, and I said, we need a guy that's down there that sees these guys on a daily basis, that he knows who the best ones are. So we can cut the corner and not be trying to get 10 guys up here to search through. He can point us to the best 2, and we can work to get them. And just like anything I've ever proposed to my owners, there was yes. And Guillermo was there, and we visited with him and got him intrigued about it. And before we ever said yes or no or signed contracts, or he was already sending me videos of guys. Like I could have used him and never been hired on or never got paid $1. He was so willing to help, sending me videos of this guy. This is the guy you need. You need Casio Diaz. You need Julio Marquez. These guys are so good, JW. And but of course we hired him, and then we got those guys drafted, and the rest is history. So I might be the head coach, but we wouldn't be here in our spot today if it wasn't for Guillermo.
And you seem to work great together. Like, you're good friends before coaching or anything.
Yeah, we was pretty good friends. I mean, we didn't hang out. You know, we was just different parts
Closer
of the world.
A lot now.
But when he was so committed, that's the thing that I look back and I'm so thankful for, that when he decided to take the job and move here, he didn't move to Decatur, where most of the Brazilians live, or Tyler or Weatherford or somewhere down there where a lot of the guys tend to get to. He moved right here. He's 4 miles down the road.
Yeah, we went and fed the bulls down there.
So he's here every day. You know, when we've got a camp or we're guys live here and getting on bulls, he's here helping practice. He's here helping drag the arena. And that's what it takes, is a commitment, and he's in 100%. So he's been nothing but great.
And I think a lot of people, when the teams first come to light, they thought on the TV maybe it's all an act, how he's like cheering for each other and that, but they don't. I've seen it firsthand. Like, you take everyone in like family. Like, the guys come here and like everyone's taken care of. They can stay for as long as they want. You're getting on bulls. Like, you pretty much shut everything down to help them guys out. Yeah.
I mean, we're in one of the bunkhouses now.
Yeah.
You know, and we're building another bigger bunkhouse that will sleep 15 guys. You know, so it's dedicated to our sports, dedicated to bull riders, and it doesn't just stop at the team. Like, there's been some guys like yourself that's not on a team, it's come stayed and got on bulls and practice. It's just what we do. It ain't nothing personal, nothing extraordinary. It's just who we are. We want to help our sport get better.
And
whether they're from Australia or
you love Australians since you met me. Speaking of Australian bull riders, they're really, I think there should have been more that could have gone all the way, but it
surprises me. We talked about it under the shade tree yesterday, that it Mexico surprises me with all the vaqueros and the Western culture that's down in Mexico, that there's not better bull riders come from there, and I would think there should be better Australian bull riders too, because we think of Australians, bull riding to be such a tough sport. And when you think of Australia, you think of guys that are dirty, tough son of a guns. They don't mind a fist fight. They don't mind rough, and they can rough it and whatever, be a cowboy. But bull riding is just that. It's just the most simple, uncomplex sport in the world, but it's the hardest sport in the world, I think. So that's what's so cool about it. But yeah, Troy and Owen and Brendan Clark and name the better one. Kai Hamilton now is the latest one. But there's been some great bull riders from Australia. I'm not saying that, but because Troy is probably one of the top 5 or 10 of all time ever, bar none. But my phone went off there, sorry.
That's right.
But Troy being one of the top 5 of all time, no bar none. He's been gone for a long time now, out of the bull business. So Brendan was really good, and Kai's won a world title. And no harm to anybody else, but just a lot of them didn't excel the way those guys did. And you think there should be.
And What do you think that is? Like because plenty of them come over here, and
I couldn't tell you.
Mm.
I don't know. We talked about a little bit yesterday that maybe they get here and it's kind of a vacation. And Aussies are known to be wild, and
drinking, fighting,
just not fully focused in on exactly that bull riding. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that's why I probably didn't ride very good when I went to Brazil, because I wasn't focused. It was kind of a vacation week to go see Brazil and party and have fun, and bull riding was second to me. So I'd never done good at Barreto. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
And speaking on family, you've got 6 kids?
Yep, 6 of them. me and my wife, we never was able to have children naturally. So one day she's like, "Oh, we should adopt." I'm like, "Whatever, let's get after it." And 6 later, I'm like, "Stop." Let's just stop right there. So yeah, we got 6.
And how long have you and Leanne been married?
18 years.
Yeah, wow.
Probably. Yeah, I've been together 20 and been married 18. Got a 15-year. Got 2 15-year-olds. 11, 10, 9, and 6. How about that?
That's enough to keep you busy, plus the bulls. And
yeah, for sure.
When, what year was it you started breeding bulls and trying to cart bulls?
Me and my brother, we started putting a few bulls together. Mid-90s, 95, 6, 7, buying bulls out of sale barns and jacking with them. And then about 97 or so, we probably bought our first set of cows. We bought a set of cows from Freddie Cordell, and then I bought some from Ronnie Roach and Dylan Page, Don Kish. My idea was to get just a handful from everybody and
mix them
put
together.
them in a bowl and mix them up. So yeah, so we've been at it since probably 96, somewhere 97.
And you really enjoy that side of it, the contracting, breeding, and
yeah, I wish it could make a better living, because we don't just turn our calves and cut them and sell them the next fall and things like that. It's not you go through them and you hurt some of them, break legs and things, and you cull some here and there, and then you think this is going to be good, so you keep him till he's a 3-year-old, and then he ain't no good. Then you've got $3,000 in him feed money, and then when you sell him at the sale barn because he didn't turn out, you get $1,100 for him. So the turnover is so wild and off the wall.
If you didn't love it, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's not the home run hitter that you think it would be, but neither is cowboying, but it ain't about the money.
It's the lifestyle.
It's the lifestyle I get to live. Like I said, I ain't never had a job. So.
But I bet you've worked pretty hard for someone that's never had a job.
I would like to think so, yeah. That's why I got a 15-year-old son now. I can work him like my daddy worked me. I don't have to pay him either.
And with the bunkhouses, you've always got cowboys rolling through, and everyone that comes here is happy to help.
And my son's kind of caught on to that. Like, he's happy every year when a new crop of Brazilians or new crop of kids come in that's on the team. He's got help feeding, and so he just points, and they're also willing to help and fill water up and pack hay and stuff. And he's got to where he just points and let them do it. So
there was what year did you start doing the commentary?
Oh man, I don't know exactly the year. I'd be lying, but I was in a spell in my career where I wasn't riding real good, and I wasn't making the short round a lot. And the guy that was doing, he was the producer of the show, called. I'd be in the locker room or something. He'd come by. Joe Lavero was his name. He'd come in the locker room and say, "Hey," he said, you didn't make a short round. He said, you want to come sit in the booth and kind of just talk with us? And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'd go in. And so every time I didn't make the short round that last half of the season, he'd just get me in the booth and I would talk and help commentate a little bit. The next year they was like, and I wasn't riding very good. And I don't know if they thought he sucks, we need to offer him a job or what, but they was like, hey, what are you going to do next year? You might want to come in the booth. And I was like, I could almost see the writing on the wall, like, and I was starting to want to be more of a homebody, family, dad. I wanted to be a daddy and stuff, and I didn't want to be a bull rider and be a daddy. It's just too dangerous. If I lived through bull riding, then I wanted to be a dad. I didn't want to do both at the same time. And I could kind of see the writing on the wall that I wasn't very good anymore. I wasn't wanting to watch what I eat no more, And so I was like, well, what's it pay? It could be, And I don't even remember the pay, but it was relative to what I was making, what I thought I could probably win. And, I thought, I'll just do TV. God took care of me, because I passed bull riding and stuff. My plan was to win the world every year and have $1 million every year. That's what makes the best bull rider, is not having a backup plan. Yeah, I think so. I didn't have a backup plan, but God was so good that every time something's come to an end,
a new opportunity.
There's some door has opened, and and everything's allowed me to keep my cows and keep my sanity that way. So
and feed your tribe of kids
and feed my family. It went from bull riding to TV, from TV to coaching, and it just and little things in between. But just every time something's been a door shut, a bigger door's been opened, and it's all because of God. There's no way someone from where I come from is poor and uneducated as I am. I got a high school education, but some of that's because my girlfriend took a test or helped me, So he's been way better to me than I deserve.
And you made a lot of friends doing the commentary too, speaking your mind.
Well, I know y'all drive on the wrong side of the road in Australia, but we get I've made a lot of enemies.
Taking the piss.
Yeah, you're being sarcastic. Because I made a lot of people mad at me with my commentary.
Like when I was speaking to Marcus, he thought you hated him. Like, he's like, when you called, he's like, what the fuck is he calling me?
Yeah. And I can truly say, and because I'll say, man, I hate that guy. And I tell my wife, because I don't hate anybody.
Yeah.
I don't hate nothing or nobody. I said something one time about the bull Bones, and Tom Teague owned him, and he got mad at me. Like I said, I don't even remember what I said, and but he got mad, and we're really good friends. He got mad at me for saying something about Bones, and he's I can't believe you said that. I'm like, well, I don't know what I said, but whatever I said was honest. Like, I may have been wrong, but that's how I felt, and that's what I thought, and it was my honest opinion, and that's what they pay me for, is my honest opinion. And he got over it and laughed, but
do you even know what you said?
Yeah, I don't. To this day, I don't even remember what I said. But, I've had Cooper gets upset over the years a couple different times, and JB, I've said a couple things, but it gives them something to prove me wrong, and some of it may be to drive a guy to be better, because I want them all to be great. I don't want to be better than nobody. I want them.
You're not there to just put people down.
Yeah, no. If you don't want me to say you fell off, don't fall off. Pretty simple. Pretty simple concept. But anyway.
What's a piece of advice you'd give to a young guy coming up wanting to make a living off riding bulls?
Probably make sure that's what you want to do, because it ain't for the faint of heart. and it's okay if it ain't.
Mm.
If you want to be a hobby bull rider, there's a place in the world for a hobby bull rider. If you want to be a professional bull rider, or say an amateur bull rider, there's a place in the world for an amateur bull rider. There's a place in the world for a professional bull rider. But just like anything else, football, baseball, where's rugby, whatever. If you want to be the best at it in the professional side of it, it takes more. It takes a lot more. It takes more than any other avenue of that line of work to be the better end of them. And if you want to be good, you got to be willing to put the work in and pay the price when it doesn't work.
And just last one, what was the best bull ride you ever made, you think? Or your favourite? Doesn't have to be the highest score, just one that sticks out the most.
There's probably three of them that really kind of ring true that I look back at. I rode Urkel at the PBR finals. I rode Panhandle Slim at the first round of maybe 98 finals, 97, 98 finals. And then I rode Hollywood in Anaheim, California. Those are my three highlighters, I think. And one of them was only 89. But it was just
the feeling,
just
and
the feeling, the way it all
it.
happened. And so, yeah, those were probably the three. Urkel, Panhandle Slam, and Hollywood, probably.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, J-Dub, and thank you very much for doing this. And
hey, I appreciate it.
And
buddy.
thanks for having me at the ranch.
I appreciate it. Yep. Thank you, sir.
And I'll see you down the road.
Yep.